When it comes to lifting weights at the gym to build muscle, something that I found to be extremely helpful as a younger lifter was to watch my favorite reputable fitness YouTube influencers walk the audience through their own gym workouts with an explanation behind their exercise selection, exercise technique, and how all of the different elements and components of their workouts revolved around their own muscle growth goals. For this video, I thought I would do the same for you in the midst of my natural bodybuilding competition prep. I'm going to walk you through my latest full body gym workout and explain it as I go, in hopes that it might help you with your own workouts to build muscle effectively. You can even imitate or copy the entire workout if you want to give it a shot, or you can take some of the principles that I share and apply it to your own workouts. Before we get started, if you find the video to be helpful or enjoyable, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. It really helps me out. Okay, let's dive in. First up in the session are these hack squats to hit my quads. If I had to pick my favorite exercise to really focus on hitting my quads, it would be a toss-up between these and the leg press, I think. Deficit Bulgarian split squats are one of my all-time favorite lower body exercises too, but since they also involve a ton of the glutes and adductors, I wouldn't pick them for my top spot specifically for my quads alone. I want to point out a couple of technique principles that I'm implementing that I attribute to maximizing the effectiveness of these for muscle growth. The first is the amount of depth I'm moving with. I move, in essence, as low as is feasibly possible, whilst keeping my entire back up against the pad. Moving super deep is how to maximally flex at the knee and thereby load the quads in their maximally stretched position. That large range of motion leads to a very high amounts of mechanical tension, which in turn leads to tons of muscle growth stimulus. Contrary to what it might look like, I found this to be one of the best ways to keep my knee joints healthy and pain-free too. From moving super low, I move through the point of highest knee shearing rather than bashing into it like if I were to move with a shorter range of motion. The second technique principle I want to point out is moving with a controlled eccentric tempo. By moving slower on the way down, it forces the quads to work very hard, and in turn to be exposed to tons of tension. In addition to that, the smooth nature of the reps, while being very tough on the muscles, is a little bit less jarring on the joints, reducing the frequency of nagging pains on things like the knees or connective tissue around the hips, knees, or ankles. And the third technique principle is that I brace my midsection hard. For each rep, I'm pushing my quads hard to move up and down, and as I do that, I keep my midsection very tight and braced. This acts to support my body and create a strong foundation for my quads to push from. From reinforcing that strong foundation, it actually enables me to push my quads harder than if otherwise. Seated leg curls are up next to hit my hamstrings. From my experience with doing these, getting the machine set into a favorable position is very important to having the potential to hit the hamstrings hard. The machine I'm using here has 4 or 5 different adjustable parts, and it actually took me a few sessions before finding the right setting for each of those parts. Ideally, you want to set it in a way that maximizes your ability to move with a full range of motion and that simultaneously keeps you securely planted in the seat with minimal energy being lost from feeling like you're not in a tight position. Upon getting the machine set up right, the movement is pretty straightforward. Do as many full range of motion reps as possible following the machine's movement pattern. And just like with the hack squats, and pretty much every other exercise for that matter, I try to aim to move with a more controlled eccentric tempo in particular. On another note, this is a movement I love adding things like lengthened partials at the end of the set, where I can no longer move with any more full range of motion reps, and to include drop sets even after that. Cable lat pull downs are next to hit my back musculature, especially my lats. You'll see people perform this with a variety of different technique styles. Some people seem to make great progress from moving with a looser looking approach, where they move with more swinging or body English. And others move with a bit more strictness to their setup, aiming to not move with the same kind of swinging. While with the right intent, both ways can probably lead to great stimulus for muscle growth. My preference is the latter though, as you can see in the video. I like to keep my form strict, keeping my body in a relatively static, upright position with a little bit of forward and backward swaying to keep tension predominantly on my lats. For me, that helps to keep tension precisely where I want it and gives me peace of mind that I'm hitting exactly what I want to be stimulating. As far as my grip goes, I don't really overthink it. You can make an argument that depending on your grip, you can hit different parts of your back more or less. I prefer just to pick what feels the most comfortable on my joints and connective tissue by default and then just progress with that for as long as I can. The military press is up next to hit my delts. You hear all sorts of things about this movement in regard to if it does or does not hit the side delts. Some fitness professionals and even researchers say it does hit the side delts great, and others swear that it's a waste of time in that regard altogether. Though I'm not sure exactly where the truth lies with that, I include these more so because I enjoy doing them and I like aiming to get stronger at them, regardless of if they do or do not hit the side delts hard. At worst, they definitely help to build bigger front delts, which, from my opinion, is still a muscle worth giving a good amount of attention to. And at best, it hits both the front and side delts. Flat dumbbell bench press is next to hit my pecs. You'll hear different pieces of advice in regard to how much you should tuck in or flare your elbows out or to the side, and how low you should bring the weights at the bottom of each rep. Funny enough, when I do these, I don't try to micromanage my elbows into a predetermined position. Rather, I think about following the groove. I try to set my elbows and body in the position that feels the smoothest on my joints without trying to overthink much outside of that. I let them move where they want to move. Following that groove leaves my joints and connective tissue healthy, and it leads me to getting a great stimulus for my pecs simultaneously. As far as depth goes, I fall into the camp of lowering the load as far down as possible, more or less. Doing so means maximally stretching out the pecs in the bottom position, which exposes them to tons of tension under load and helps to reinforce my mind-muscle connection in the process. Next up are these backward-leaning, elbow-supported dumbbell bicep curls. Yep, that's a mouthful, all right. This is a cool biceps exercise, and I've been really liking it lately for a few reasons. First, I find that by my elbows being supported in that lean back position, it feels really great on my elbow joints and the tendons around it, allowing me to push hard throughout the set without nagging elbow pain. I'm especially susceptible to elbow pain, especially on my left elbow, so this is something that's super important for me. And also, just the angle and resistance curve of the exercise leaves me with a fantastic mind-muscle connection with my biceps. As far as technique goes, I start each rep where my elbows are completely locked out and then curl the weight up a bit past parallel, but not all the way up, as going all the way up seems to take tension away from my biceps. I prefer to move with tons of control with these two, keeping the tempo slower overall, both on the eccentric and concentric phases of the movement, to force my biceps to work insanely hard. Last up are these easy bar overhead tricep extensions. Just like the bicep curls before these, moving with tons of control is my preference here, to both force my triceps to work super hard and to keep my joints and tendons happy. I let myself take my time through the set and keep myself from rushing. At the bottom of each rep, I'll pause for a second at the point where my elbows are maximally bent so I can expose my triceps to tons of tension in their most stretched position. For my setup, I arch my back in the seat, but still make a point of bracing my midsection, similarly to how I would with the hack squats or military presses. The extra support is important for setting my body in the strongest position possible for my triceps to perform at their best. And that's the workout. Hopefully there were some helpful points and insights in there that will prove to be helpful for you in your own gym workouts to build muscle. And feel free to copy the entire workout, give it a shot, and see if you like it. If you have any questions or comments about the workout, please feel free to drop them in the comment section below. Before this video comes to a close, I want to quickly let you know about the work that I do. When I'm not making YouTube videos or Instagram content, I work full-time as an online physique coach, where I help my clients to accomplish their muscle growth and fat loss goals by optimizing their approach to strength training and nutrition, and I coach them through the process. I've been doing this work for over 7 years and love helping my clients to not only transform their bodies, but ultimately their lives. If you've been considering getting some help with accomplishing your own physique goals, feel free to hit the link in the description below, where you can learn a little bit more about the work that I do and how it can help you. You can even use that link to schedule a free video consultation with me. If you have any questions about my coaching or how I can help you, just email me at sam@jadeathletics.ca. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.